These are the prize winnings of the top Indian teams in PC gaming, something that most people are aware of, but now let's see the international performance of these Indian teams. This is weird, right? How are Indian teams able to have such huge investments made into them, have so many sponsors, while at the same time not even performing at an international level? Before that, let's take a look at Korea, where esports originates. It was Korea which defined how esports athletes and the esports industry in general functions. As I am a Valorant enthusiast, I am going to look at Valorant stats only for the sanctity of my mind and not end up making weird claims. What you are seeing right now is the statistics for the Valorant tournaments that have taken place in Korea. While comparing these stats to respective Indian tournaments, you can clearly see that we aren't behind in that matter at all. Also, a fact that we should note is that since we have not had significant showcase in international tournaments, haven't made a single qualification, no one other than the fans of South Asian region watch these matches, whereas the Korean tourneys are watched by people all over the world. This is the primary reason why Indian teams are able to maintain such huge spending potentials like traveling and setting up boot camps in other regions, just so that it's better for the players in terms of paying, confidence, etc. With my minimum knowledge of the mobile gaming industry, I have seen the massive prize pools in tournaments getting live telecasted on TV while at the same time breaking records. Talking about prize pools, this is the main topic of this video. While countless other regions have their official Riot-backed tournaments, which have been there since the launch of the game, developing a system where Riot-backed tournaments have huge prize pools which are the entrance to the VCT circuit, while in case of India and South Asia, Riot partnered with local organizers in the beginning, like how we saw with the Agni series. They later just left the region on its own. This vacuum led other third-party organizers like TEC, Sky Esports, Northern Gaming, etc. to have full reign on setting up their own tournaments. Sky Esports had the flagship Sky Esports Championship, which had an IPL-like format with each city having its own team. There was even bidding. But the server is in Mumbai, right? So obviously most of the teams are from Mumbai, right? Yeah, interesting concept. Anyways, moving on, TEC has their Gauntlet, an all-year long running tournament which gave upcoming teams get a chance to fight with the big dogs and giving the big dogs able to refine and try out new styles. Northern, on the other hand, had their partnership with Riot, which let them host the official circuit tournaments. Along with this, there were tons of other third-party organizers as well. The lack of integration into the official circuit also had a negative aspect. The 1 year where India and South Asia was not included in the official circuit came back to haunt the Indian teams. The inclusion of India in the last chance qualifier, which is basically a last ditch attempt to qualify for champions, the flagship end of your event for Valorant, was hastily done to satisfy the growing negativity towards Riot for the exclusion. The exclusion meant that Indian teams could not have official professional experience to fight other tier 1 teams from other region and justify the worth of the sub-region. The location of the subcontinent also meant that the nearest powerhouse region, Southeast Asia, demanded the scrims be played on the Singapore server on a significant ping disadvantage of 60 ms versus the usual 5 to 10 ms players were experienced to play on the Mumbai servers. Due to this disadvantage, players were never able to truly show their potential in scrims that was clearly reflected in the official matches. Even after this, Global Esports, which won the South Asian slot for the last chance qualifier, moved their bootcamp from Mumbai to Chennai to get a better ping as the LCQ was also being played on the Singapore server. The results were actually quite surprising in a good way. She managed to defeat the Korean powerhouse Tam Wong Kia, yes, the car company, cool, right? They also managed to take a map of F4Q, the Korean team who went on to Masters Berlin. But apart from this, no other team or Global Esports themselves have achieved much at an international scale. Despite having everything, Indian teams are not able to perform at a global scale. That's the thing which actually does not matter. The fact that no one else except Indian audience wanted to see Indian teams play with each other meant that the sponsors had the expectation that they were only targeting the Indian audience. It also meant that the performance of these teams did not really matter. If something of this sort were to happen in Korea, all the international viewership which built the region's viewership will start to dip. You don't really have to worry about that. The fact that we have an organically grown audience which doesn't want to watch Indian Valorant by itself, let these tournament organizers have huge prize pools, grew the esports scene as a whole in India.
Well, yes, ladies, and I mean, there's no ladies here, but I think there may